afternoon. Welcome to the World Report with me, Arjun Samar Mahindra. Let's take a look at what's making global headlines this Wednesday morning. First and foremost, the diplomatic track between Washington and Tehran, well, it seems to be gathering pace, but not without fresh questions. Let me underline that at the very beginning of this bulletin. You see, according to a Wall Street Journal report, US President Donald Trump considered the option of a renewed all-out war against Iran before ultimately deciding to stay the course with negotiations. Now, the report further says Trump believes another round of military strikes could derail the fragile diplomatic process, even though the US has not ruled out the use of force if talks fail. But for now, Washington appears to be betting that diplomacy and not bombs will produce and can produce a long-lasting agreement finally. Meanwhile, Iran is striking a cautious but firm tone. You see, the Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf says Tehran is determined to uphold the MOU, but it warns that Iran is fully prepared for the war if the US fails to honor its commitments. Ghalibaf also says a joint committee will in fact oversee the end of war in Lebanon. Meanwhile, attention is also fixed on Doha. You see, Trump had announced an important meeting with Iran in Qatar and also dispatched Steve Witkoff and his son-in-law Jared Kushner for the talks. Iran, however, it insists that there will be no direct meeting with the US at any level this week, saying its delegation is traveling to Doha only for technical discussions focused on the release of Iranian assets and not any talks.
ما نسبت به تفاهم نامه مصریم، یعنی ما هم در حال گفتگو هستیم، هم اگر گفتگو رو نخوان اجرا بکنن آماده جنگ هستیم و عکس العمل نشون میدیم و حتما طبق اون کار رو داریم. یعنی اون مذاکراتی که به نتیجه رسیده توی تفاهم نامه تو این زمان بندی بود انجام بشه، الان ما هماهنگی میکنیم، گفتگو میکنیم برای تحقق اونها. بعد من توضیح خواهم داد تا اینا تحقق پیدا نکنه اصلا وارد بقیه بندا نمیشیم. لذا پس ما الان در حال گفتگوییم.
Shifting our focus, South Korean officials said all but two of the country's 26 vessels that had been stranded in the Strait of Hormuz are now out of the waterway, with most arranging their exits following last month's ceasefire deal between the US and Iran. Nam Jaon, Vice Minister of Oceans and Fisheries, said in a briefing Wednesday that the remaining two vessels include the HMM Namu, which was damaged in a May attack that South Korean officials believe involved Iranian-made missiles. The conflict between Afghanistan and Pakistan is only intensifying as we get you this broadcast. You see, Afghanistan's Taliban-led government, it now says it launched retaliatory strikes on targets across the border in Pakistan's Balochistan province, with several people reported injured. Pakistan's military, meanwhile, said it intercepted and shot down 4 rudimentary drones, warning that any further aggression would in fact be met with befitting response. The competing claims have not been independently verified. Let me underline that. Now, the latest flare-up, it comes just days after Pakistan carried out airstrikes inside Afghanistan. According to the UN, those strikes killed 28 civilians. In the West, the US Supreme Court has upheld the principle of birthright citizenship, ruling against President Donald Trump's attempt to change who counts as an American citizen at birth. Now, on Tuesday, that's yesterday, the court rejected an executive order from Trump that sought to deny citizenship to children born in the US to parents who are in the country illegally or on a temporary basis. So how does this ruling really affect Indians? Let's take a look at this special report.
The United States Supreme Court has delivered a major setback to President Donald Trump's immigration agenda, striking down his executive order that sought to end birthright citizenship. The ruling has far-reaching implications not just for Americans, but also for thousands of Indian families living and working in the United States. In a 6-3 ruling, the top court struck down Trump's executive order that aimed to end automatic citizenship for children born on American soil to parents on temporary visas or living in the country illegally. Trump took to Truth Social to say that the court's decision was too bad and vowed to continue to fight through legislation. Meanwhile, Democratic lawmakers are celebrating the top court's ruling.
message for President Trump. You may believe you are above the law. You are not. You may try to divide Americans based on race, religion, or their country of origin, and you will fail.
The verdict is especially significant for Indians, the largest group of H-1B visa holders in America. Had Trump's order taken effect, children born in the US to Indian professionals would no longer have automatically become American citizens. The same would have applied for undocumented Indians as well. That uncertainty has now been lifted, bringing relief to thousands of Indian families living and working in the United States. So, who is eligible for citizenship by birth in the United States? Anyone born on US soil, including children of US citizens, permanent residents, H-1B workers, students, and undocumented immigrants, continues to qualify for automatic citizenship. The long-standing exception remains children born to foreign diplomats who are not subject to US jurisdiction. The ruling is a major constitutional defeat for Trump and a powerful reaffirmation of a principle that has defined American citizenship for more than 150 years. Bureau Report for NDTV World.
Shifting gears, international search and rescue teams on Monday pulled a 12-year-old boy from the rubble of a building in La Guaira, Venezuela that had collapsed following powerful earthquakes. Teams from Ecuador's USAR ECU 01 in coordination with a team from the Dominican Republic rescued the boy who had in fact been trapped under the rubble of a building in the Macuto area of La Guaira for 5 days. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, the government reported the death toll surpassed 1,900 from the magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 earthquakes. Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi will visit New Delhi for a first official visit to India in just a few hours from now, with both sides set to unveil an ambitious roadmap for, the next decade of bilateral cooperation. From strengthening semiconductor supply chains and rare earth partnerships, all the way to expanding maritime security and boosting investments for sure, the summit, it's expected to deepen one of Asia's most significant strategic relationships. Here's a report. Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi touches down in New Delhi in the next few hours, initiating her first official state visit to India. Tight security around Japan's ongoing parliamentary diet session shifted the entire 3-day itinerary exclusively to the capital, removing a previously planned leg in Assam's Guwahati. The core bilateral meetings unfold on the 2nd of July, featuring intensive strategic talks and high-level economic forums, followed by her departure back to Tokyo on the 3rd of July. At the very center of this whirlwind itinerary sits the Japan-India joint vision for the next decade. As both leaders convene at Hyderabad House, 5 distinct strategic pillars dominate this summit landscape. Both nations will sign a landmark joint declaration to actively resist regional economic coercion. Leaders will formalize deep industrial cooperation to secure critical semiconductor manufacturing pipelines. New agreements will diversify and secure the supply of essential rare earth minerals. The summit will expand joint naval drills to safeguard vital Indo-Pacific shipping lines. A massive 50-member business delegation aims to aggressively bridge the bilateral trade gap. The 50-member corporate delegation accompanies Prime Minister Takaichi, bringing executives from Suzuki Motors, Toyota Shusho, and Itochu Corporation to New Delhi. This heavily commercialized presence builds directly upon decades of foundational history. Official diplomatic ties established back in 1952 have anchored Asian geopolitical stability for generations. Japanese bullet train technology and metro funding have completely revolutionized Indian public infrastructure. A deep, ancient Buddhist connect forms the unbreakable civilizational foundation between both the nations. Modern defense cooperation has evolved rapidly through the powerful 4-nation Quad security framework. As New Delhi opens its doors, the summit looks to cement a special strategic and global partnership that balances commercial trade with a unified regional security front. Bureau Report, NDTV World. Well, viewers, we'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back, viewers. You see, Anthropic will soon begin restoring access globally to its more powerful AI models, Fable 5 and Mythos 5, after the US government lifted a restriction on where they could be released and where they could not be. Just earlier this month, US authorities blocked access to the models on national security grounds. But just 4 days ago, the company said it had received authorization from the government to allow a small group of American cybersecurity firms to access Mythos 5. Well, switching our focus, you see, Kylian Mbappe, he broke another World Cup record on Tuesday evening. That's last evening. The French striker has become the leading goal scorer in the World Cup knockout matches, taking his tally to a 10 in a brilliant performance as his side crushed Sweden 3-0 to book a place in the final 16 of the tournament. In the other game, Erling Haaland, he hailed unbelievable history for Norway after hitting a late winner to send his country into a World Cup last 16 showdown with Brazil.
Mbappe finished a superb move to break the deadlock just before halftime against Sweden, a goal that sent 80,000 plus fans into a frenzy inside the New York Stadium. The 27-year-old ran to coach Didier Deschamps, who returned to US after his mother's funeral. The French striker's second goal came after a delightful Michael Ollis pass found Mbappe. This was the third goal of the night for Le Bleu. With his sixth goal of this year's tournament, Mbappe is tied with Messi in the race for the Golden Boot. With 18 goals in 18 World Cup games, he also moved one behind Messi on the all-time scoring list. France won the game 3-0. They will take on Paraguay in the round of 16. In the other match of the night, Ivory Coast looked like a better team for the most part, with more shots on target, but the opposition had Erling Haaland, the goal machine. It was a relatively quieter night for the Manchester City forward. Antonio Nusa delivered a curling effort to put Norway in front against the run of play. Ivory Coast's Ahmad netted a dazzling goal in the 75th minute. But Haaland had the last laugh, crashing in a stunning solo goal to break the African Harps. The Scandinavian nations' qualification for the round of 16 matches their campaigns in 1938 and 1998. Can they go one better this time? We will know when they play Brazil on Monday night. Rika Roy for NDTV.
Shifting gears, Ecuador was knocked out of the 2026 World Cup after losing 2-0 to Mexico in the round of 32. You see, Mexico dominated the match, striking early in the first half with goals from Raul Jimenez and Julial Quinones, and from then on comfortably controlled the game against an Ecuadorian side that never found a way back. Throughout the 90 minutes, Latri showed no clear game plan. There was no cohesion, no movement, and absolutely no reaction, nor any strategy that offered any hope of a comeback. We get you there.
Y así es el fútbol, ¿no? Pero apoyando a la selección, pierda o gane. El ecuatoriano es así. Nunca hay que darle la espalda a la patria y así nos mantenemos. Gracias, Durán.
There you see the faces of the sad Ecuadorian fans, the Latris, sad, who were sitting in anticipation earlier. Shifting gears, you see, according to reports, the highly anticipated wedding celebration for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce is expected to take place at the Madison Square Garden this very week. Now, the report describes plans for two events at the iconic arena in Midtown Manhattan. The first described as a rehearsal. It's scheduled for Thursday and expected to host about 100 guests. We leave you with this report.
It's a love story, baby, just say yes. Country and pop music's biggest star, Taylor Swift, is getting married this weekend to her handsome football star fiancé, Travis Kelce. The couple is rumored to tie the knot at New York's famous landmark, Madison Square Garden. prep is underway as several carrier trucks were seen outside MSG unloading heavy set and equipments. A large white staircase, among many other things, safely covered to not reveal any secrets. It is rumored that a large-scale garden castle is on the plan. Rehearsal dinner on Thursday, followed by wedding ceremony and reception on Friday. Swift's dating timeline has been quite a talk of the town. Many highs and lows with several Hollywood and even British A-listers. Joe Jonas of Jonas Brothers in 2008, Twilight star Taylor Lautner in 2009, singer John Mayer in 2010, actor Jake Gyllenhaal, and Harry Styles in 2012. DJ Calvin Harris to latest of British actor Joe Alwyn and then Matt Healy. But it was Kansas City Chiefs star Travis Michael Kelce that ultimately swooned her when they started dating in 2023. Number of Swift's albums were inspired or even dedicated to her lovers, and she has been quite open about her heartbreaks and her romantic journey. Taylor Swift is one of the biggest music stars of our time and is loved by millions of fans around the world, thus making her wedding extremely special and highly anticipated. The adorable couple has had several romantic moments, from football games to shout out at her concerts, that made us all believe in love again. The world awaits to see Taylor's wedding dress as she finally says "I do" at the MSG altar. Though she would say yes with a paper ring, but the nearly $1 million old mine brilliant cut diamond isn't too bad either. Mayank Chaudhary, NDTV.